transform and purify the metaphors and symbols of the occult? Well, according to their very own information sources, the way that they purify and transform the occult symbols, metaphors, and numbers is by externalizing them. The word externalize means, number one, to express a thought or feeling in words or actions. Number two, to represent something abstract or intangible as material, to embody, to attribute emotions to external circumstances, to direct to others as costs or benefits. Number three, embodying in an outward form. So, to summarize what externalization is, it is to express an abstract thought or feeling in words, actions, or in some type of material object, some type of material thing that will allow others to clearly understand those abstract thoughts or feelings that you could not otherwise make them comprehend because they were very hard to be understood. And while this is done, the individual or group that is expressing these otherwise hard to understand thoughts and feelings through words, actions, and material objects that make it simple to understand these abstract thoughts and feelings, they must as well present to you the cost or benefit of accepting the abstract thought or feeling that they are making simple to you by using words, actions, and material things that you are not only familiar with, but commonly they are also appealing to you. And finally, expressing these hard to be understood thoughts and feelings through familiar words and actions and material things that you can not only easily understand, but usually are appealing to you, the person or group that is doing the externalization must leave you attributing these new emotions that you are feeling to external circumstances. Ladies and gentlemen, you may not realize it yet, but the Freemasons and the New Age Illuminist Luciferians have already successfully completed this task. You see, all throughout this video, I have been sharing with you thoughts and feelings of the Freemasons and Illuminists and New Agers that were not easy for you to understand or outright appealing to your senses. But when I took the time to express these same thoughts and feelings of these Luciferians in words and visual displays that were easier for you to understand and that may have appealed to your senses as well, you began to realize the benefits of the information I was sharing with you. And this is what the servants of the devil have been doing for years now. Before watching this video, you may not have known that the numbers 9/11 have occult symbolism, meaning that there is a need to destroy the existing order of things to pave the way for the establishing of a new world order that will be ruled by Lucifer. But on September 11th of 2001, which is 9/11, the order of the Freemasons and the Illuminati, who were behind the crisis of bombing the World Trade Center building, externalized the occult significance of these numbers 9/11 by placing their symbolic meaning into words, actions, and material objects that you could understand and that definitely appealed to your senses. By running two planes into the tallest buildings that contained several highly organized and productive businesses, in a city where the people move about like ants, they were teaching us through these events that we could understand and that appealed to our senses that the current order of how our country was being governed was not good enough because it left a door open for living people to be made dead. Remember that it was the high-level Freemason a Luciferian by the name of Aleister Crowley, that said a highly organized and perfect secure environment that is run by Christian principles is a government that is stagnant. By the way, the word dead is a synonym for the word stagnant. Then they externalize the occult meaning of 9/11, which is the need for rejecting the light or God's law or God's principles for the purpose of establishing a new order by expressing to us the cost and benefits of a new order. How did they do this, you ask? Well, they did this by telling us that we needed to surrender some of our liberties and freedoms to establish a new order in which we could be safe and happy. The cost was our liberty and our freedom, which, by the way, are principles of God, because we are told in the book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage." America was established by pilgrims that were tired of being in bondage to popes and kings that were tyrants and that rejected God's principles. Hence, the Constitution of our country was constructed off of Christian principles, God's principles, which are light, that would ensure the citizens of our country religious and civil liberties and freedoms that the founders of our country did not have under the tyranny of European rulers and popes. So, shortly after 9/11/2001, when we accepted the Patriot Act, which stripped us and is continuing to strip us of our once enjoyed God-given liberties and freedoms, we accepted the occult meaning of 9/11, which is, it is necessary to reject God's principles, God's light, for the establishing of a new order. And the benefits they told us that we would receive is safety. And this whole situation that placed the emotion of fear in the heart of our country was attributed to an external group, which was called terrorism. You didn't know it, but this was the transforming and purifying of their occult metaphors and symbolism through externalization to gain you and millions of others as their initiates into their occult belief that there is a need of a new world order in which Christian principles are rejected. However, that is a way more complex scenario in the way that the Freemasons and Luciferians and New Agers are externalizing their abstract belief system and views than the ways you are being faced with on a daily basis. For instance, the occult meaning behind the skull and the bones they have externalized on a global scale. If the average person was to hear the extremely abstract ideas of the establishing of the 666 beast system connected to the skull and bones, that average person would become confused or be completely uninterested. But by making this very same symbol visible on clothing, jewelry, and accessories of society's favorite singers, actors, or rappers like Jay-Z, the world has now embraced this occult symbol of skull and bones. Furthermore, they embrace the symbol because they have embraced the character of the spirit of the singer, actor, or